Well, hey, it's Rob, and happy Liberation Day. Today is the day that the auto tariffs take effect, and I am here sitting on a bench in front of Dyer and Dyer Volvo dealership in Chamblee, Georgia. Now, Volvo has the distinction of being at the bottom of the list, having the least amount of vehicles that are assembled in the United States. So, one would think that if the tariffs are going to affect any brand, it's going to definitely be Volvo. I have a history with this dealership. I bought two vehicles here. I bought a 2014 S60 sedan, which I loved. 5-cylinder engine, really nice vehicle. Traded that in for a 2017 V60 wagon, which I didn't like as much, but I am a big fan of Volvo in general. I learned to drive a stick shift on a 1980 Volvo 242 GT. Anyway, be that as it may, this video is about tariffs, and we're simply going to see the effect of the tariffs on the prices at this one local Volvo dealership over the course of a few months. So we're going to examine 4 different cars that are at this dealership currently that I found online. Basically, I found the cheapest 4 examples of each one of these models. And we'll just go through and see over the months what's going to happen with these prices. Now, don't forget the average vehicle price is almost around $50,000. You can't really get anything at Volvo for much less than $50K. So we'll just keep an eye on these prices and see what happens over the coming months. All right, so a quick history on Volvo automobiles. Of course, Volvo is one of the 2 famous Swedish manufacturers, the other being Saab, which hasn't been around since 2011. Sometime, I think, around 2000, Volvo was acquired by Ford. Ford tried to, turn things around for Volvo, ended up selling them at a great loss to the Chinese company Geely, who purchased them in 2015. So Volvos are manufactured either in Sweden, in Gothenburg. I think they have some additional manufacturing in Finland. I know they made the convertibles there. And otherwise, the Volvos you see here on the lot today are made in good old China. So very, few of the cars are assembled in the United States, and that's why I suspect the tariffs are really going to hit Volvo hard. So this was an article in Axios today, and it's basically going to show what percentage of the cars sold here in the United States by different manufacturers are actually assembled here. And then we're going to look at 4 different Volvo models currently for sale and see the prices on those different vehicles. Anyway, so starting off, Rivian and Tesla are doing great. 100% of the cars that they sell in the United States are made in the United States. Of course, Tesla makes cars in China, but those are for sale only in those markets in China. Ford's doing pretty good. Almost 80% of the cars on their lot are assembled in the United States. We can start seeing, of course, we're going down in percentages as we go to the foreign manufacturers. And finally, we're going to get to the bottom 4, Hyundai, VW, Mazda, and Volvo, with the sad 13% of their cars that are for sale on the dealer lots, like we saw today, are manufactured in the U.S. Let's look at 4 different models of Volvo. These are the cheapest ones available at Dyer and Dyer Volvo. 2025 XC40, that is the compact SUV mild hybrid, around $43,000 currently. Second model here, the Volvo EX30, that is the electric compact hybrid, not even on their lot yet, but they are selling it for around $47K. The third model we're going to be looking at is the 2025 Volvo S60, the 4-door sedan. That's the one that I owned. Like I said, I really enjoyed that car. Currently going for $47,215. We'll see what happens to this price. And finally, we're looking at the 2025 Volvo XC60. It's the 4-door SUV, the midsize SUV, pretty much the most popular Volvo out there, at least in my neighborhood. And we're just going to keep an eye on the price here at Dyer & Dyer of the cheapest example of the XC60, currently at $48,345. And we're just going to see what happens with these prices as the weeks and months drag on. All right, I'm back. It's April 3rd. One day since the Trump tariffs took effect, and we're already seeing articles like this, not confirmed, but they're basically claiming that the Polestar 2, the four-door electric sedan Volvo's been making, the offshoot of Volvo, the Polestar brand, they're saying they're not going to sell that in the United States anymore because it's made in China, and it's already $65,000 before any tariffs are enacted. By the way, these are very nice cars, and since nobody knows what they are, you can get them for about 20 grand used now. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks since we last saw each other, and what we're seeing now on the Dyer & Dyer Volvo website is an advertisement for tariff-free inventory. Basically, what they're saying is they know these tariffs are coming. Trump has not let off on the Chinese tariffs. I don't know, they're up around 150% now or something. And the dealership is simply saying, hey, we already have some cars in stock that were not subject to the tariff. They were bought before the tariffs were enacted. And we're going to try to sell those off now because we know once we have to make a new order for Volvos that the pricing is going to be very different. Well, it's a couple days later, and now Dyer & Dyer Volvo are promoting a tariff-free Volvo sales event, which is only possible because they just have a bunch of inventory that, they purchased before the tariffs took effect. And once they go through that, then I think you're going to see a big jump in the prices at this dealership and pretty much any other Volvo dealership around, because they're going to be dealing with these tariffs, which seem to, at least in China's case, not be coming to an end anytime soon. All right, hey, just jumping in for a second here. So it's May 4th now, about a month after the tariffs were enacted, and Volvo just announced that they will no longer be importing the S90 sedan, which of course is made in China. And that means that, they will no longer have a gas-powered sedan, which is crazy. The S60 is sundowning this year. And other than the Polestar 2, which is electric, that's it for Volvo sedans in America, at least for a little while. Hey, it's Rob, and gonna wrap up this video in the same place that I started because I noticed I had a different shirt on today. That's always good, and just got a haircut. Anyway, so after a month, we're not seeing any real effects of the tariff so far. Of course, they're just selling off inventory they already own, which would not be subject to the tariffs. The prices of the four cars we looked at are pretty stable. The EX30, I think it's made in China, and maybe they won't even be bringing it here now. There is one, I think, over there in the lot. Everything else is pretty much at the same price as when we started a month ago. The changes are, of course, that the S90 sedan, the big four-door sedan, will not be sent here anymore because that's Chinese. That's in addition to the S60. They're finally discontinuing that after many years, decades. I don't know. That's been going since the early 2000s, and I owned an S60 and a V60, great cars, but we won't be seeing those anymore. And currently they're advertising, tariff-free sales here because, like I said, they bulked up on their inventory. They stocked up for a while, but when they run out, if these Chinese 125% tariffs continue, well, it's going to affect Volvo, of course, and many other dealers and many other businesses in all sorts of different areas. All right, from Chamblee, Georgia, wrapping it up here. Thanks for watching. Hey, jumping back in because I just noticed they got a shipment of Polestar 3s. These are nice looking electric midsize SUVs. They got a few of them here at Dyer & Dyer Volvo in Chamblee. About 70, 80 grand. I mean, that's the way things are today, and they're probably stocking up because these tariffs are ongoing. If we look at the sticker, it's assembled, I believe, here in the States. It's in South Carolina, but about 40% of the parts are from China and a quarter from Mexico. Like I said, very nice looking vehicle. I wouldn't mind driving around in something like this, but again, $80,000. Not going to happen for me personally.